Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me here today. If you're new, I'm Amanda. Welcome to the channel where we are all about shattering the mental health stigma. Somehow I made it this far without ever hearing the song Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton. But judging by how often you guys request it, I have a feeling that I'm about to get emotionally wrecked. I don't know what the story of the song is or what it sounds like, but if I had to predict based on the title, I would say it's either a grief journey or someone struggling with faith. But I have the feeling that this is not going to be the type of reaction where I just stay completely composed. So let's find out.
Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would it be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong and carry on, 'cause I know I don't belong here in heaven. Would you?
I'll rewind there a little bit. I think that is probably the most unexpected voice I have ever heard going into a reaction. I think that a lot of artists rely on power, they chase power, but Clapton is letting vulnerability do the work here in his voice. And it's just immediate, intense emotion. But I think one of the cruelest parts of grief is that love doesn't end when someone's life does. It's like you still have things you want to tell them. You still wonder what they think about your life today. It's like your heart never gets the memo that they're gone. And I just think that that's unbelievably cruel. The line, I know I don't belong here in heaven, that was honestly just kind of a shock to my system. I'm conflicted on how to interpret that line actually, because is it heaven isn't where he's supposed to be yet because he wants to be with his loved one but still has more life to live, or is it more like survivor's guilt mixed with feelings of unworthiness? Maybe it's a little bit of both. I am enraptured here already in just his voice. It's so unique, but so haunting, but so gentle, but also so powerful.
Would you hold my hand if I saw you in heaven? Would you help me stand if I saw you in heaven? I'll find my way through night and day, 'cause I know I just can't stay here in heaven. Time can
Whoa, that's a transition. That's a transition that I'm gonna come back to, but ooh, I think that he sings with a softness of a memory that still hurts to revisit. So whatever his grief is here, I think that the pain is still kind of fresh, but I mean, it can always be fresh, right? But the questions here are so childlike. That's something that I noticed right away. Will you hold my hand, or would you hold my hand? Would you help me stand? They're just so innocent, which checks because grief has a way of making even the strongest person feel small again. Many adults will cry out for their mother in their final moments, or if there's an intense fear, like if they're in a very, very frightful situation, they'll still cry out for their mother. And it's kind of like the inner child is taking over, and you just go back to instinct. I think we're stripped down to our very bare bones at that time, right? And when you lose someone, you don't just miss who they are, you miss the comfort they gave you, the feeling that everything's going to be okay. I miss that with my mom. I lost both my parents in my early 20s, so it's been quite some time now, and I still miss that comfort, that innocence. I will never feel that again. And I think that um, I think that that's something that people need to understand is there's some things that you do lose forever. You do lose parts of yourself forever. You're never going to be the same person again. But he answers his own longing here by saying he'll find his way through the night and day because no matter how much we wish we could stay with the people we've lost, life asks us to keep walking anyway. And it's not fair. And it sometimes seems completely insurmountable. Like, how am I supposed to get up? How am I supposed to keep walking? How am I supposed to keep going when my world ended in some way?
Time can bring you down, time can bend
Okay, phone.
beneath. Time can break your heart, have you begging please, begging beyond the door. There's peace, I'm sure, and I know there'll be no more tears in heaven. Would you know?
Find someone who, when you're falling apart, not only will take the thing out of your hand, but will also wash your hair and help you get through just the basic hygiene, the basic self care that you're just not able to do. But I think that that might have been the most honest lyrics in the song because time doesn't heal you. That's a myth that I wish would just go away. Time doesn't heal wounds, it changes you in many ways. It teaches you how to carry the weight, but there are losses that stay with you for the rest of your life. There will never be a day in my life that I don't miss my parents, that I don't wish that I could tell them the things that were going on, that I don't wish that I could check in with them. There won't be a time in my life where I don't wonder what my baby would have been like. Even though I have a 15-year-old and a toddler now, I'm still always going to wonder. There's still always going to be that grief. Time can break your heart. Have you begging, please? Is such a painfully accurate description of grief. It's begging, which falls into bargaining, the Kubler-Ross stage of grief. Bargaining is huge because anyone who's experienced profound loss has had a moment where they would give absolutely anything for one more conversation, one more hug, one more chance. There might be things that you regret saying or things that you regret not saying. And every person that's gone through profound grief has those moments. And that's what makes the hope in the next lines there so powerful. Whether you hear them as faith, metaphor, or simply longing, I think everyone understands the desire for a place where grief finally lets you go. I'm a non-believer, so I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the reference of heaven, but I think that it's all encompassing. I don't think you have to be a believer. I have this struggle where I'm going, I don't feel like I'm gonna see my family again one day, and that's really hard. I wish I could. That's something that people don't understand is I really wish I could believe that. I miss being able to believe that. I just can't force myself to. But yeah, I really think that it's universal because everybody understands that desire for a place where you don't feel the grief anymore, whatever that means to you.
Would you know my name if I saw you in heaven? Would you be the same if I saw you in heaven? I must be strong. here in heaven.
Okay, so I've never done this before, man, to 10 seconds in the future here, but, I turned it off, and the aftermath actually hit me harder than listening to the song in real time, and I just started getting really, really overtly emotional, like, thinking about everything. It's so much deeper than just the psychanalysis of the lyrics. It's just oh my god. Oh my it just hit me like a ton of bricks the second I just stopped my video, the second I stopped filming because it's just, would you know my name? If I saw you, like, mom, dad, would you even recognize me anymore? Would you even be able to communicate with me? Are you in heaven? Is there a heaven? If there is that where you'd go? Is that where I'd go? Would you be the same? Would I be the same? Like, I know that there's the I must be strong, but holy, I never thought strength would have to look like this. Like when I was younger, I never expected that. But it's just I when I'm thinking back, it's like, would you hold my hand? Would you still love me? Would you be disappointed in all the things I did after you passed away? Would you help me stand up and find my footing again? I know this is all just kind of crazy to come from a non-believer, but like all these years I have sat there and thought over and over about, is there something more? Like, please give me comfort that there's something more. That was the only thing I prayed for after my mom passed, was let her find my dad and let me feel comfort. And that was the last time I think I really, truly, deeply prayed. But time, like, just still, look at this. 20 years later is still hitting me like a brick wall. But yeah, there is peace, somewhere out there. But right now, I've never experienced this with a song where I listen to it and then fall apart. So I felt like I just needed to share that it kind of built, and I was okay, and I was explaining everything, and then I just got slammed by it. But I know I don't belong here in heaven now. Just hits all that much harder because it's there is that fear in the back of my head that's I don't belong in some place like that. I'm not a believer. That's not for me. I wish I could. I wish I could believe. I wish I could be there. I wish it existed. I wish that I could see my mom again. There's just so many wishes. I wish that I could hear my dad's like childlike laugh. I wish I could make him feel better, give him a better chance in life. He does have you begging for sure, and I feel like right now I'm kind of hitting that bargaining again of I do anything for there to be something out there, and do anything to feel, to believe, and to have that comfort again. So yeah, just thought that I would share the emotional after effect, even though I've never done that with her reaction. This might sound crazy, but I think the beginning and the end having the same lyrics creates this circular emotional structure that mirrors grief and mourning, actually. There isn't a neat resolution, just the same unanswered questions returning. And it leaves me feeling stuck with him. Like, I'm stuck in his grief, I'm stuck in my grief. I feel like this is one of those things that's really going to stick with you because there is no neat little tying it up with a bow. The message isn't hopeful or uplifting or anything like that. Rather than ending with certainty or closure, its song ends with longing, which again is very reflective of how grief actually presents. Is there isn't always just this closure, and even if you feel like you have reached acceptance, doesn't mean that you won't go back into the other stages of grief, the denial, anger, bargain, depression. You can still go back into those. The repetition, I think, really emphasizes that some losses can't be resolved by words. It can't be resolved by listening to a song. They can only be carried. They can only be held. You have to hold space for them. He isn't writing a story with a conclusion. He isn't writing a story with a happy ending. He's expressing an ongoing conversation with someone. I don't know who. This has to be personal to him. There's no way with the way that he performed that this is not personal to him. I can feel it in my bones while listening to this, but he's expressing an ongoing conversation with somebody that he can no longer speak to. And I think that the song ends where it began because for someone grieving, those questions never completely disappear. I lost my mom in 2007, my dad in 2005, and I'm still sitting here asking so many questions all these years later. And sometimes it just doesn't get resolved. I always think of Bad and Crazy. Make sure you're sharing your mental health stories here in the comments. That's how we shatter the stigma, is by talking about it. But I would also encourage you today to share your favorite memory of a loved one you've lost, because doing that, sharing their love and their wisdom with the world, can really help you to feel connected with them and can keep their memory alive. So we can help you keep their memory alive here today. Make sure that you make sweet, sweet love to that subscribe button. Give the bell a few kisses so you don't miss any more content like this. I love you guys so much. Thank you for sharing your grief with me today, and I'll see you again real soon. Mwah.